What's happening, y'all? Welcome to the first episode of the Let's Talk podcast. I'm going to be streaming live on Instagram at RunEmDeadKennels302. And you can find me on Facebook under Johnny Bizignero. And I'm recording this for the actual YouTube channel, the Let's Talk podcast. All the links are in my bio on Facebook. And that's where you can find all my socials. And you can contact me on there for anything. So this episode, I want to talk about the interest in the outdoors and in raising hounds and training hounds and starting hounds to hunt rabbits or what other game you guys might be interested in running them on. I'd like to get your take on it. Me personally, I'm kind of new to it. I got into it about I got one rabbit season under my belt, and it's really changed my life. It's been such a pleasant experience for me. Networking, met a lot of good people, did a lot of different things, traveled a lot of places around my own state. Haven't traveled outside of my state yet, but plan to definitely in the future. I haven't got the whole, and getting back to the cameras, going from camera to camera, I'm going to try to talk to both of y'all. If you see me staring right at you on Instagram, you'll be looking at me looking at the other camera on YouTube. So I'll try to bounce back and forth and get it going the right way. See if we can get it going. Because I don't have the whole editing and cutting and all that stuff down yet. Just starting out. And, if you guys are hearing me well, that'd be great if you can let me know in the comments. And I'll be happy to answer any questions and whatnot. As soon as y'all join in. I have a list of questions that I'm going to be asking interviewers. So I'm kind of going to, or interviewees, guests that I'll have on the podcast. I'm going to ask myself them. So there's no dead time on air. So that'll be pretty cool. I'll start out by saying who I am. I'll ask you who you are. My name's Johnny, a.k.a. J Motion, a.k.a. Johnny Rabbits, a.k.a. Johnny Snake Eyes. That's what my guys call me when we're, hunting rabbits, because your boy barely miss. I'm 31 years old. I've been rabbit hunting for about a year now. I've been, whitetail deer hunting for about 4 or 5 years now. Kind of put that on the back burner with rabbit hunting and all. Let me get these questions up for y'all. Sorry for the ums. Like I said, episode 1. The question about where I'm from. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I moved to Delaware under different circumstances than most people would move. But it's been a blessing. I really enjoy it down here. There wasn't much outdoor activity in Philly, other than getting into some riffraff. But right now, I currently live in Sussex County, Delaware, Dagsboro to be exact, and it's been nice. I rent a house on a farm with plenty of land around to train my hounds and train my dogs, especially with young kids growing up in my household. It's good to get them attached to the dogs and locked in and learning a better way of life than just being on video games and YouTube and stuff like that. Just getting involved in the outdoors is really good for the kids. And I've noticed that's how it's changed my life. So the only regret I have about running hounds and hunting rabbits and hunting other game is that I didn't do it sooner. I really wish I had the opportunity to do it. And my upbringing was decent. I had a great mom, good dad. I won't get too deep into that because that's not what this podcast is about tonight. But my upbringing led me here and made me the man I am today. So I'm ready to tell y'all about the positive experiences that hunting and being a houndsman has done for me. My favorite thing about these dogs so far has been, no matter how hard of a hunt, no matter how hard of a day, no matter how rough the terrain, every time that they're done hunting, or every time that they're getting ready to go hunting, the excitement on these hounds is phenomenal. A lot of people are like, oh, you're forcing these dogs to do this, you're making them with the shock collars and the discipline, and you're bothering them. You're not letting them be dogs. This is what these dogs were put on this earth to do, and they are extremely happy at doing it. I have three puppies outside my house right now, a grown dog and another grown dog, and it's pouring rain outside right now, and them dogs are dry, happy, and healthy. There isn't anything that I could do differently with my hounds that would make their life any better. Bringing them in the house, no chance. They just become miserable, fat, lazy animals that wouldn't serve a purpose. And people wonder why their dogs are separation anxiety, chewing their furniture, pissing all over the house, this and that, because they don't have a purpose. And if you buy the right breed, or you excuse me, rescue the right dog, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just a phenomenal experience. So my interest in the hounds is pretty much their excitement to do the job that they were born to do. And no matter how rough they are, no matter how tough they are, anytime you want them to come up and give you some love, they're ready to do it. I appreciate it, man. Steady Pressure Kennels, thanks for tuning in. Babe, thanks for tuning in. It's my first time raising a litter of puppies, and I'd like to say I did pretty good. I got three. Let's see, I have three here still. So 5 have gone to new homes, and each and every single person that got a puppy from me is extremely satisfied so far with their behavior, their health, their attitude, their drive. You know, they're still young. They haven't really started running on rabbits or anything or any other game. But they enjoy it. They enjoy the puppies that they got. Some went as pets. Some went to be bred and raised as hunting dogs. And I can't wait to see them grow old and happy and in their loving homes. And I'd have to say, like, my second favorite thing about the hounds is learning the different bloodlines and seeing how it all breaks down, the different traits. And me and my friends like to debate, especially, my buddy over at Steady Pressure Kennels. We like to debate on, which bloodlines are better, and whose rabbit dogs are going to be better rabbit dogs, and all in all. We talk a bunch of crap to each other, and it's fun. All of us want each other to have the best rabbit dogs there is. There isn't any, I hope Steady Pressure doesn't produce anything this year. I hope they don't, I hope their dogs wake out bad. No, I want David Mullen over at Steady Pressure Kennels. I want him to have better rabbit dogs than me, because that's going to drive me to trade better rabbit dogs than him. And and we end up just being able to run our dogs together, and they do a phenomenal job. Right now I'm running I have the mother to my pups is a Weir Creek top and bottom female out of Davis Farms Kennels out of Maryland. I believe it's Maryland or Virginia, and out of the Delmarva area. And she's a solid dog. And the father to them, my pups, is a Branco Indian Hills cross out of Jimtown Kennels up here in Lewis, Delaware. And he's more of a category of a run to catch dog, just an all around tack driving, hard hunting, heavy foot rabbit dog. And I like the way that the guy, my buddy Jimmy, described him to me. And I was kind of in a pinch. I didn't know where else to turn, and luckily Jimmy let me breed to his male, and produce great puppies. I can't complain. So far, they show the right attitudes is what I've seen some other young rabbit dogs doing who turned out to be great dogs. So, excuse me. My prayers are that the two pups that I'm keeping out of my litter are great. But so all in all, I have Branko and Weir Creek pups getting ready to go to the starting pen, and I believe I booked a date for October, and the season starts in November. Uh, so that'll be definitely an awesome thing to watch come to fruition. My dogs and how I raised them and see what they turn into. The um, the starting pen's not too far away from here. There's a guy named Danny. There's a lot of guys that put on starting pens and they put the dogs in there and they just run around with an older dog to train them and all that good stuff. But Danny gets in there and really gets the pups going. And that's what me and my guys like about him. We've been using them for the past couple of pups that we've started, and shoot, the success rate's been pretty high. Some dogs just don't make the cut though. We've been through a couple dogs this off season or this last season and this off season that just didn't make the cut. But we always find them loving homes, and or somebody else gets them that's in the rabbit hunting game, and they end up turning them up. They just got more time than us to mess with the dogs, or it's just something about. Sometimes that's how it is. I got a dog one time that he just did not run for the owner that I got him from, and he turned out to be a pretty decent rabbit dog. And now I done gave him to somebody else who was just starting out because he wasn't doing anything for me, and now he's the best thing in that guy's yard, doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing as a rabbit hound. And it's amazing watching the it's amazing watching the progression in a young dog or a young puppy as he grows into an old dog and starts maturing and really getting into becoming a rabbit dog. What do I look for in a hound? Well, it's hard to say really exactly 100% what I'm. There isn't any one thing that sells me on a certain hound. It's more easy to make a shorter list of things that I don't want in a hound. If you're trying to have a hound up for discussion and the description is he's barking in the kennel at night too much and he's probably not going to be a right fit for my camp because I don't have anything to do with that. Or if your dog is out in the field and he's standing at your feet until the other dogs get a rabbit up, I really don't have the whole lot of patience for that. That's not a deal breaker for me. One of my the best dogs I ever had here in my camp didn't have a whole lot of hunt to him, not a whole lot of drive to find a rabbit. But when the rabbit was up, I like to think it was hard to beat him. Some people have other opinions about him, but I liked him, and I thought he was great. And I listened to some other people about getting rid of him, and I shouldn't have. But now he's, like I said, now he's another one that's in somebody else's yard doing the damn thing that I made a mistake on. But it's good. He's a happy dog, and he's living life, and can't go wrong with that. But for new people, or newer people than me, you got to find somebody. Find somebody else to ask questions to. There isn't anybody in the rabbit hunting community that I haven't met yet, and I've met hundreds of people from here in Delaware all the way up to Maine, all the way to Kentucky, all the way to New Jersey, in every direction here in the United States. I've even talked to rabbit hunters from Mexico about these hounds and asking questions and different traits on dogs like that. Nobody has ever turned me away for quote unquote asking a stupid question. And me and Steady Pressure Kennels, Taven, we drove to Indiana to get a couple of pups one time, and that was an experience in itself. I think we both told each other that we're going to take a break from road tripping for a while. I think I got on his nerves just a little bit. But granted, he was sleeping the entire time, so I was by myself. So. But no, it was a good time. Met some interesting people. Met some great people. And speaking of the trip to Indiana, Taven's Taven's pup that he bought in Indiana is a dog named Boomer, and he's a Bramlet dog out of Stormtrooping Kennels, and he is shaping out to be a really good rabbit dog. I've personally hunted over him a few times this past season, and he's really proven himself to be on his way to being a top tier rabbit dog for sure. He's not gun shy. He's not afraid to get into the thickets. He's got some nice foot to him, nice horn mouth, and he really gets it done. The pup that I got from Indiana, I did not or no, mine was from Kentucky, or vice versa, either one. Um, she was a blue tick dog, and I got nervous right as it was time to get her ready to start in the starting pen, and I ended up rehoming her to another people, and turned out she was a little aggressive on the ground, and she wasn't getting along with other dogs, so it was good that somebody got her and can give her the time that she needs and the comfort that she needs, and keep her away from other dogs and whatnot. Because I wouldn't have been able to do that. I have a young family, and I can't have dogs being aggressive like that. But she's better off now, so she's doing great. So I have on my list here how my interests in rabbit hunting has changed my life. Well, it's put me in touch with a great group of guys, and it's really given me. It came to my life in a perfect time. At the perfect time, I had started a new job. I was worried about where my life was going. I had just gone through some personal stuff at my home, and Taven was working on the job with me, and we work with a lot of guys that are older than us. So I really, we could cut it up and BS with the guys in the break room, but they didn't really, there wasn't really anything I could relate to them or they could relate to me or anything like that. So David was substituting at my school, and I met him, and we just got to talking, similar interests, and he said, man, you've been rabbit hunting. And it was funny because leading up to him starting at the school, with me going through my personal issues at home, I was on YouTube looking up, rabbit hunting videos. Like, man, I would really love to hunt over some hounds and rabbit hunt. And I never even thought that people did that in my state because I never really see any rabbits. And I know running deer with dogs in my state is illegal. You can't do it. So I had no idea that we would even be able to do that here in Delaware. And it was quite the experience. I almost got a couple of dogs off of Taven to just start out, but it wasn't the right timing. And so it was like the last two hunts of the season last year, or 2 years ago. Him and his cousin Jeremy and a guy named Billy invited me on a hunt, and man, it was fun. And they turned to me and told me, they said, "You're having fun?" I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." They were like, "Well, this hunt is going horrible right now, so we glad you like it. We can't wait to get you out on a good hunt." So, and the whole off season went by, and I built my kennels out behind my house, and I kept in touch with them guys, and we started getting some things together. Got a few dogs and got it going, and it really came in at the right time. Meeting them guys, getting involved in the hounds, it really was the distraction that I needed for the stuff that I was going through. And that's what I love about the dogs, man, because no matter what happens with these dogs, they always love you unconditionally. The dog can take a pee in the house, and you can get mad, and you can smack it with the newspaper, and then somebody can kick that front door in and come after you, and that dog is going to protect you with its life, no matter what. Dogs love unconditionally, and that's the kind of love that I needed in my life at the time. It was great. The other dog I have, he was my pet in my house before I moved my family in. there's just no room in the house now for dogs. I have 5 kids running around, beautiful girlfriend, and my dog. He's not the biggest dog, but he's a little too rowdy and rambunctious to be up in the house with all of us now. So, but I trained him on tracking wounded deer for my friends that can't shoot. You know who you are. Um, and he does pretty good at it. But if there's a 4-wheeler around, he's going to be completely distracted, and it's a pain in my neck. um, he went away to obedience school, and when he came back, he was like he never left me. So, like I said, the unconditional love thing is real when it comes to these dogs, man, and it's really important to recognize that in your dog and reward it for good behavior. Um, the next, I think I'm halfway through my list of questions. Let's see. Yeah, how changed my life. My goals with these hounds is I want to raise a good stock so that people are traveling to Delaware to buy pups off me, like we did traveling to Indiana, and Kentucky to buy pups off of these other guys. I look forward to being able to say or hear guys or girls say, "Hey, we're headed to Delaware to get some beagle puppies off of that guy John at Run 'em Dead Kennels." I'm not a super strong believer in just breeding, and stuff like that. I got kind of forced into breeding. I got burned a lot in this dog game, a lot. There is an abundance of great people, but there also is some bad people in this dog game that'll swindle you and sell you trash, and that's why you have to get a core group of people that you trust. Like I was saying earlier in the video, get a core group of people that you trust, that you can refer to ask questions about certain things, because that's just the best way it's going to be. And I learned the hard way sometimes by not listening. For example, I wanted to upgrade to the Dogtra Pathfinder Mini 2s for tracking my rabbit dogs when they're running the rabbit and training them. So I had a classic Pro 70 Garmin posted on the internet for sale, and this guy just sweet talked me. He was like, man, if you mail them to me as soon as I get them, I'll send you the money. I've been burned too much. We should get together and hunt. Blah 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 blah. And long story short, as soon as I told him the package was delivered, he blocked me. And there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. Steady Pressure Kennels says that y'all better watch out. He will have the best Bramlet hounds on the East Coast within the next 5 years. And that's a great goal, man. There ain't no better feeling when you'll be able to achieve that goal, and I can't wait to achieve it myself. It's kind of why, Taven always asks me, Johnny, you should just go Bramlets. And I kind of want to not go against the grain, but I want to do something different so that we have all types of different traits in these dogs that we can use and utilize to build our great foundation. And I think we're on the right track. But yeah, so a good goal is to definitely get people that you can trust and, refer back to, ask them questions when you get into predicaments like I got into. And in the meantime, like when you're trying to achieve them goals, you still, like for me, I'm trying to achieve the goals of I have 2 rabbit dog puppies in the back right now, and I have another one coming from New Jersey. Actually next weekend I'm going to pick it up. And then I also have another already finished dog coming here in November, and that's going to pretty much hopefully be the foundation of my camp moving forward. But with doing all these things, they cost money, and the important thing is to not let it affect my personal life. So like, initially it costed money to start up doing the dogs. Now I kind of let the dogs make the money for me, if that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna go buy a dog if I have a kennel full of dogs without moving a dog first, because I'm not trying to take any money out of my household. Um, and that doing it that way affected my life in a very positive way. It taught me discipline, how to be disciplined with my money. I started a business, and it was the motivation to start my lawn care business to provide a better life for my family and my hounds. And like seriously, ever since I met this group of rabbit hunters, Taven and his family and his friends, my life has been great. I have other friends that played a part in my life, and other family members that played a part in my life that got me to a point of serenity. Like this isn't a podcast about all that, but today we're talking about the hounds. On another podcast, we'll dive into where I really get my peace of mind from. Um, yeah, I Taven from Steady Pressure Kennels asked, is rabbit hunting considered a lifestyle? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think because I mean, even if we go back to our conversations with each other when we're talking on the phone, um, when we're talking about leads on a job, we refer to that lead as we jump the rabbit, and we're getting ready to run the rabbit, which means we're getting ready to go do the job. Or if we say, you know, how'd that lead go the other day when you went to go do your estimate, or how'd that lead go? You know, if we didn't get the estimate, we can say, oh man, that that rabbit hold up, man. I'm on to the next one. So it's like it's pretty funny how we talk about that stuff. But as far as um what'd you say? Why am I drawing, cuz? Um whichever. But um and you gotta and another way that it could be considered a lifestyle too is because nothing else outside of raising these hounds to do a better deal, would you have to just take care of your getting your kids involved, getting your family involved. Like everything is, you know, super important to adopting it as a lifestyle. So yeah, I guess it can be definitely be considered a lifestyle for sure. Um, without a doubt, without a doubt. Um, that was a good question, Tim. I didn't really know how to answer it, but I guess I didn't answer it right since I'm drawing. Hey, Amanda, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. Appreciate the support. Um, I'm trying to see what yeah, what's going on, Steve? Thanks for joining in, man. Thanks for joining in. If you guys got any questions about hunting or hounds today, this is what we're doing today. It's great to hear from y'all. Um, what do I feed my hounds? Right now, I'm feeding my puppies. They eat purple bag sports mix puppy chow small bites. I don't know the exact fat and protein content on that. I can definitely pull it up real quick. Um, but I'm feeding my grown dogs Canine X made by Sport Mix. It's more of a um, performance kibble, and in the cold winter months, they get more of a. I implement some raw into their diet. Is that 2028 for the puppy chow? Steady Pressure put it in the comments. Um, he's a big contributor to what I do in my life. So definitely give my boy Steady Pressure Kennels a follow. It's definitely a good choice. Is this the next thing? No doubt, bro. For sure. For sure. Oh, I got room for all family and friends, man. Steve, anytime I'm in the area over there in Jersey or anytime you're down here, man, I'd love to have you on. I appreciate the support you do. You know, um, you show a lot of love and a lot of support every time I see you and every time you see my content, man. So I'll definitely have you on. Um, I'm looking up this Sport Mix um, K9X, and that is a green bag K9X chicken blend. It is, you can get it right on Chewy.com, or you can go to the or you can go to your local Tractor Supply and get this stuff. The protein in the K9X is 30 and the fat content is 22. That's what the bag looks like. This stuff is great. My dog's coats are shiny and their joint health is good. They got lots of energy no matter how hot it is, no matter how cold it is. They're ready to go straight out of the box. And this is the first time feeding the Sport Mix puppy chow for my puppies. And I mean, their coats looking great. Their bellies are full, super healthy, high energy. No complaints there. And if you guys want to see um, a little bit of what we do, Steady Pressure Kennel's got a YouTube channel as well, and he posts our hunting videos on there. And it features me and a lot of them. I think that's where I got my nickname, Johnny Snake Eyes. In there, I'm doing a lot of sharpshooting with that double barrel. I'd show you guys what I hunt with and stuff like that, but I think Facebook and Instagram and may frown upon that. Um, that's right. I did raise Maverick on Sport Mix, and that's one of the dogs that didn't work out for me that I gave to somebody else who's now one of the best things in that guy's yard. Um, and he was a Sport Mix pup, and he is a big boy. Let me tell you, he's I haven't seen him in person in a while, so I think at about 15, 16-inch rabbit dog. So if he is 16 inches, he doesn't qualify for any trials like that. But, um, I think that he's a good gray gun dog. So I don't know if he's been gun hunted yet. I'll have to check him out and see what's good this upcoming season. Yeah, Steve, it is kind of terrible. Steve from New Jersey says that Delaware's cell service is terrible. Every time he tries to call me, I'm on a back road somewhere and we can't get service and we end up never being able to chat. So I think we kind of gave up for a little bit, but you know, good thing I'm home today doing this. It's good to hear from you, man, for sure. Definitely let your people know if they want to tap into a new podcast coming forward. The content distribution is going to be a little slow at first, trying to find guests and whatnot. But I think I've been posting about it coming soon long enough that I needed definitely to do something tonight and get it out there for sure. While I'm looking at these questions, has anybody else got any other questions? I love the question and answer style podcast. It works out so much smoother, a lot more interaction with my listeners or my viewers. My next question is, what do I do in my free time? I mean, I really don't have much free time in the summer. Right now, I work a full-time job for the state, and I started a lawn care company. So in my free time, right now, I just spend it with my family as much as I can. Sometimes I fall short on that, and I want to go fishing or mess with the pups and whatnot. So Stephen Huster from New Jersey asks, how many dogs do you plan on raising and what's the overall plan with the dog business? Well, right now I'm only going to raise 3 puppies of my own and I'm going to have 2 finished dogs. And as far as it being a business, I'll have to really get into it. I am a registered AKC breeder. So any information on my dogs can be tracked through their website. And the drawing a blank, and the puppies that I have obviously I won't breed them together, but the puppy that I'm getting, if he turns out good, I do plan on incorporating that into my program. And I think I mentioned earlier that I want people to travel from Kentucky instead of me traveling to Kentucky to come buy a dog from Run 'em Dead Kennels rather than me buying a dog from their kennels. Um, I think that would be a good goal to have. When will I hook y'all up with some deer meat? Amanda Huster from New Jersey as well. Steve's wife. Great supporters. Love you guys so much. The deer meat, yeah. I haven't even had any deer meat. Deer season opens up in a couple of weeks, and maybe I'll crack a couple for y'all and see what we can do. But you'll have to eat it here in Delaware because you can't travel over lines um, with a deer, so you have to process it here in Delaware. But that's no big deal. I can take care of that for y'all too. Um, what was the question I was just saying? So what do I do? Like I was saying, in my free time, I don't do much but relax, kind of catch up, let my body recuperate from the long week of work. But in the winter time and the fall, it's up. It's all the way up. I mean, it's as soon as you get off work, take the dogs to the hunting spot or take the dogs to the training area. Delaware and Kent County was fortunate enough to give us an area. I'm not going to disclose it to y'all because I don't need anybody hunting up on my rabbits, but they've designated a few spots strictly for hunting or for training rabbit dogs and other dogs, waterfowl game and stuff. And it's a great place to be. I spend a lot of time there. It's about a 45-minute drive from my house. So when you go, you got to make it worth it. We're usually there for a whole day or a whole afternoon and really putting some time in with the dogs. And that's pretty much what my free time consists of. So I can't get mad at it when I'm doing what I love to do. Steven asks, do people ever complain about what you're doing with your dog? Um, yeah, I think I touched on that a little bit earlier in the podcast, but I'll do it again. People are always talking about, oh, your dogs live outside in the winter. They're too hot in the summer. You're forcing them to run these rabbits for all these hours. And, my answer is just my dogs are in better healthy shape than them couch potatoes that you guys love so much. And I'm not speaking directly to you, Steve. I think your dog's in great shape. You guys walk him. You guys play with him. He's a very energetic and fun dog to be around. But somebody asked me one time, or somebody was hollering about a Facebook post about a guy having a dog in the back of his truck in the middle of the summer, and I just laughed about it. And that dog is perfectly fine. These dogs that I have are bred to be outside. I mean, the puppies that I'm raising outside in the elements, their great grandparents never lived in the house. Why would I start living them in the house now? The generations and generations of these dogs have been living outside, and they survived this long. And I'm not gonna be the one to turn their bloodline into couch potatoes. It's not gonna happen. Finn's great. I was talking about him earlier too. Finn's great. He lives outside now because my family is quadrupled in size. So, but he loves it out there. He loves it. He doesn't have any worry in the world. He gets food every day, water every day. He's got plenty of shade, plenty of air. What's Steven from New Jersey asks, teach. Okay, I was wondering what that word was. What's the hardest thing to teach the dogs? I think the hardest thing to teach them is almost, there's not a whole lot of teaching when it comes to the rabbit dogs. I think really getting them going is probably the hardest part. Putting the hours in, keeping them on the ground, keeping them in the field, keeping them behind experienced dogs who don't, run off game or do any running off and not listening. And so I think, I guess in my experience so far, the hardest thing that I've had to deal with is getting dogs to work on the recall, like coming back, because they don't want to stop hunting. It's like I said earlier, it's what they love to do, it's what they're bred to do. It's not cruelty at all. It's what these dogs were meant for. I think that sometimes the hardest thing to do would be to get them back in the truck. I don't think that um, any other houndsman or anything could disagree. I mean, some guys might have their dogs trained to a snap or um, whatnot. I don't. I mean, my dog Patches, the female that bred my puppies to out of Davis Farms kennels. I told y'all earlier that she was the only finished dog I have, and that's true. I let her out of her pen every once in a while to run around and stretch her legs and feel the grass on her feet and um, explore a little bit to get some exercise. And when I'm ready for her to go back in her pen because I'm ready to go in the house, I open her pen door and I say, Patch is in your box. And, after the first 2 or 3 times of saying it, she's right in her box. Zero issues. No problem. I don't got to chase her down. I don't got to grab her up. I just, I just got to tell her to go in and she does it. So, but it's different. It depends on if you're talking about rabbit dogs or if you're talking about like your house pet. What's the hardest thing to do? I think the hardest thing to, I'll tell you, there is a difference between training a female and a male. Males can challenge you a lot more than a female, and especially in a pack mentality. You really got to assert your dominance as an alpha in the pack dynamic, or you're going to have less obedient dogs. Now you don't run into that problem as much with a dog challenging you as beagles. As far as I'm in my experience, I haven't really had a beagle challenge me as far as trying to be the alpha, but I've had my dog Finn a few times, over a bone or a ball or not wanting to go in his pen, kind of challenge me in the moment and try to assert his dominance as a male in our dynamic, and that didn't work out well for him. Obviously I have thumbs and he don't, so but my experience with dogs always hasn't been pleasant. I'm still terrified of strange dogs. um, I will not go into somebody's yard to do an estimate or lawn care service if their dog is outside. If it's just a little guy, it's no big deal. I can deal with that. But if they have a German Shepherd or a Rottweiler or even just a big Lab or Golden Retriever, even the nicest dogs as ever, I still get nervous and scared and won't go in the yard. Um, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Um, Amanda from Jersey asked, "How did you learn to train them to hunt?" Um, I didn't really learn to train them to hunt. They get sent off to what's called a starting pen, and they run with a guy who's experienced in training the dogs, and they run with an experienced dogs in a 2 acre enclosure with wild rabbits in it and brush and overgrowth, and they learn how to hunt there pretty much. That instinct trips in their, I guess, in their biology, in their DNA. That's why when I was talking earlier about bloodlines, why it's so important to grab dogs that hunt hard and have a lot of drive to chase game. That's why it's so important to pay attention to what you're doing. But the stuff that I've learned from my group of friends that I have. My boy Taven at Steady Pressure Kennels, a friend of mine, Jeremy, my buddy Jimmy, my buddy Billy, the guys that I hunt with. They all taught me all their little tips and tricks on how to train a dog and what a dog's doing and what a dog's not doing. And I am far from a houndsman master or anything like that. I am just a regular guy with dogs right now. But I know I'm significantly more experienced than the average person in these hounds, but I don't know it all yet, and I'm learning. That's what I think the most important thing about being a houndsman is remaining teachable, no matter how good or how well trained you think your dogs are. I think remaining teachable is probably the most valuable tool that you can have in your you know in your toolbox. Really, it's I think that yeah, I would say that that's what does it. If that answers your question, Amanda. Let me see. I think we're coming up on the 45-minute mark, so I'm not going to keep putting this on too much longer. Um, so you guys can check all my socials. I'm on TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my YouTube channel, it's Let's Talk Podcast dash XB2HF. Um, my links are all on my Facebook. My Snapchat's Johnny underscore 302. My Instagram is run underscore EM underscore dead kennels underscore 302. And I also have a hunting and fishing YouTube channel at Run 'em Dead Kennels. And my TikTok um, link is 302 Rabbit Dogs. Yeah, for sure. I definitely plan on having my buddies come over and hang out and answer a bunch of questions and whatnot. That is the plan. That's why you guys can see I kind of have like a corner church pew here with the table. My cameras are a little close tonight because I'm doing a solo thing, but they will be backed up. Um, and I definitely do plan on having some group chats and some group talks. And I think I'm going to go live on the tablet next time so I don't have to keep leaning in to see y'all's questions and whatnot. But I really appreciate y'all. I really, really appreciate y'all. So if you can share my links, tell a friend, bring your family, doesn't matter. Let me know. Um, and we can get it going for sure. Again, thank you all for joining in. This has been the Let's Talk podcast via Run 'em Dead Kennels 302 on Instagram. Come check me out. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I don't know how long it's going to take up to load up on YouTube, but this full video will be on YouTube. And peace out. Bye.